My name's Tim Prindle, and I am a horse guy. A horse guy who's making a movie, a horror western film that's in the $1 million arena. I wanted to maybe give some insight, and we're all learning. There's no way, there's many ways to skin this cat, but this is the way that I found helped us the most, and I'm gonna break that down into a few steps, 3 or 4 steps. I think most importantly, when you're starting, you have to have a great script, one that you believe in and that your heart is in. For my film, Hunter Grail, I started writing it when I was like 19 and has gone through lots of rewrites, but in the last decade is when we really started pushing the script and trying to make it work by hiring other writers and whatnot. But you need a team that sees your passion. So if you're not thrilled about your script, then it's never gonna work. If you're not thrilled about your character, if you're gonna act in it, or if you're gonna find someone, if you're not thrilled with the actor you're using, it's never gonna work. Your heart and soul has to be embedded into the fibers of every working moment of your movie. The team is everything. A team and a proof of concept. So if you haven't done anything in the past, you need a proof of concept in order to show it to someone who has money to take it to the next stage. So making a $1 million movie happens in layers, in my opinion, in levels. Unless you have $2 to $5 million hanging out somewhere and a rich friend, then you have to prove constantly to your team, to your actors, to your investors that your heart is always in it and that you have the team and capabilities to do it. So I'll go back to the very beginning of our movie, Hunter Grail, in the early stages. It was actually written as a TV series to begin with. And we realized that it did far better. We thought the return back to investors would be much better if it was just an independent film rather than a series. It seemed to work and go in that direction. What we did, we meaning my acting teacher, Brian Chesters, at the time I had taken his class for about 5 years, and he had said, "Tim, don't you have any Western, something that would fit your persona, you know?" And I said, I wrote something back when I was a teenager. Let's take a look at it. And my writing was horrible, and it still needs work, but it's always an ongoing thing to be better. But I wrote like a novelist, and so he got through the whole huge script and said, "Okay, now this is good, but let's condense it." We needed the proof of concept. Between the two of us, he had a director that he knew and liked, and a cinematographer. And I knew people like in the horse world, lovely lady who let us borrow Boomer, the horse, and I worked with Boomer to do several tricks in the proof of concept. We were able to compile an incredible group of people who saw the passion behind the project. And that's why I keep going back to the heart and the passion of the project. As an indie filmmaker, you have to live the blood of the character. For me, it was the character because I'm acting in it and starring as Hunter Grail. And also, we got people from the acting class. The other actor that we used he was part of my acting class. And I looked at him. See, I needed someone who was like a Bill Cody. Bill Cody is associated with the Wild West show in the 1800s, and most people think about him as older. But we're using his character and persona when he's a teenager. So I needed that energy, that kind of spicy, at least the way I thought Buffalo Bill would be as a teenager, because he was like a buffalo hunter and a scout for the army. And there's this guy in our acting class. He was just fantastic, and he was blonde and had this curly hair and just had this wiliness about him, and it's exactly what we needed for this proof of concept. So I asked him if he would be in it. It was essentially one scene of the movie, and this was a long time ago, by the way, so these things take time. Now we're working on the $1 million version of this, which is the full feature, completely separate. We won't be using, obviously, the proof of concept we started with. That proof of concept came out, and I had done a commercial with a gentleman named, director named Lucas Colombo, and it was like this product for a car, an accelerator for cars. So I got to drive a '69 Camaro around a racetrack. And I really liked the way he ran a team. That was the first thing that I saw about him. I mean, the commercial was great and all, but I think the wonderful part about that job is that I saw how Lucas worked. There was something about what he said to me once in regards to animals, and how he wanted to come closer to what Dances with Wolves did, is they used real live animals rather than going digital and all of that, and it blends so much with how I view Hunter Grail. What we did as a proof of concept long ago brought us to the director, Lucas Colombo. Lucas has contacts of everything that he has been doing, and has a wonderful system of working with influencers as well. So as we worked with Lucas, we started working in a realm which is, I think, the way the future is going. People who are influencers on YouTube or social media have a lot of eyeballs, attention, and that helped us in the second portion of our second layer of proof of concept. So the second layer of proof of concept was the opening scene of Hunter Grail. We had to do a winter scene which showed the villain when he was a teenager. And we shot that in Mammoth, had a wolf attack, and it just basically showed where the beginnings of the villain were from. Very often you see that, sort of like a prologue, and then 20 years later the villain comes back. Our very first proof of concept was done through Indiegogo. So all of our friends and family jumped on board to help and want to see us succeed with this. And that portion did exactly what it needed to do. It was seen by a production team that took it to the next level, and investors that saw what we did with the first proof of concept said, yeah, I'm going to invest in the next proof of concept. But to me, I didn't want to do a trailer. I didn't want to do just a random scene. I wanted it to be the actual movie itself. Because if I'm going to put money into anything, why would it be a trailer? It needs to be the movie itself. as an indie filmmaker, we had to separate the opening scenes into various points in time. We filmed that whole mammoth scene, the wintry scene, done. It's beautiful and incredible. We did screenings, and the pandemic hit, and we were just basically done with the movie at that point. At some point, you have to burn the boats. For me, that was when the investment came for the second level, the second portion of our proof of concept. That's when we're using other people's money. And for me, it is incredibly, incredibly important that they get their money back. You have gone way too deep, and now you've got to swim the rest of the way across that lake while everything is trying to eat you. I just kept pressing forward into a third layer of proof of concept. I applied for the Big Sky Film Grant, and lo and behold, we won it, but and that was like a good-sized grant, not enough to complete what we needed to do. Another 10 minutes, you would think that the grant would cover that, but we needed to actually put more money in, not just the grant, obviously, to hire local Montana people, crew, and talent. And in fact, some of my team was hesitant because we didn't know anyone in Montana, but I just started calling people. And for the third layer of proof of concept, my partner convinced me that we should do this big fight scene and the scene with the little boy to show the vulnerable aspect and the monster fighter that is Hunter Grail. So we had 10 minutes of the whole, what we shot in Mammoth, the prologue, and then another 10 minutes up in Montana. So we have about 20 minutes completed, completely done. And this is the third layer of proof of concept. So we all did it. We all trucked up to Montana, and in 3 days produced this incredible Lord of the Rings meets a Western, like Deadwood or Hell on Wheels. And the spider web just gets bigger and bigger. And as they see, they meaning the people in Montana, the production, the crew, see the passion and the heart you have and the deep roots that you have put into this world building and the story, it reignites inspiration for you, and I believe it inspires the rest of the team. It's all about the film and making it all about the film, and everyone wants to see it succeed. That is the multi-layers that one needs to create in order to get to the next level, which is where we're at right now. It needs the strong names attached to it, but the talent agencies with those big names can now look at what we have and say, wow, this team has what it takes to make a multi-million-dollar film, and I'm gonna bring it to my client, and he will either say yes or no. This is the next layer of risk and belief. And this proof of concept is not for getting more money. The proof of concept is to the world. And that's what matters in the end.